Did you know that 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls each year? But a small group seems nearly immune to this risk. What's their secret? These falls aren't just inconvenient. They're the leading cause of injury-related deaths in people over 60. Yet certain older adults move with remarkable stability, as if they've discovered something the rest of us haven't. Today, I'm revealing 7 walking techniques used by older adults who rarely fall. Methods recommended by geriatric specialists, but rarely taught to the public. These aren't complicated exercises. They're subtle shifts in how you walk that become second nature with practice. The 4th technique is particularly surprising, something most people do backwards every day without realizing it. Have you or someone you love experienced a fall? Comment, balance below if you're ready to transform your walking technique forever. Meet Thomas, a 72-year-old retired engineer who experienced 3 serious falls in 6 months. The last one landed him in the hospital with a fractured hip. A moment he describes as his wake-up call. Thomas. After my surgery, I thought my independent days were over. My daughter was already looking at assisted living facilities. That's when my physical therapist showed me something that changed everything. What Thomas learned wasn't just another set of balance exercises. It was a complete reinvention of his walking technique. Subtle yet powerful changes that transformed his stability almost immediately. Within 1 year, Thomas went from frequent falls to 0 incidents, even hiking moderate trails with his grandchildren. His transformation wasn't magic, it was methodical. I spent the past 2 years consulting with top geriatric physical therapists and balance specialists from leading medical centers. More importantly, I've studied the natural walking patterns of older adults, who maintain exceptional mobility well into their 80s and 90s. What I discovered will change how you think about walking forever. These aren't temporary fixes or exercises you'll eventually abandon. They're permanent adjustments that become automatic. A new way of moving through the world that your body will thank you for. The techniques I'm about to share are especially valuable if you've noticed changes in your stability, experienced a recent fall, or simply want to maintain your independence longer. And that 4th secret. It involves something you do dozens of times daily but probably backwards, without ever realizing it. If this video helps you, please hit that like button so more people can discover these techniques, and subscribe for more evidence-based advice that helps older adults live with confidence and independence. Our first walking secret might surprise you because it has nothing to do with your feet. It's all about your eyes. Let me ask you something. Where do you look when you walk? If you're like most older adults, you probably look down at the ground just a few feet ahead. This seems logical. You want to spot potential hazards, right? But here's the paradox. Looking down actually increases your fall risk dramatically. When you walk with your gaze fixed downwards, several things happen simultaneously. Your head tilts forward, which shifts your center of gravity. Your neck and upper back muscles tighten. Your shoulders round forward. And most critically, your balance system receives incomplete information about your surroundings. This is where the 3-point gaze technique makes a remarkable difference. Thomas's physical therapist introduced him to this method during his recovery. Thomas, it felt completely unnatural at first. I was convinced I'd trip over something if I wasn't constantly scanning the ground. But within days, my whole posture changed. The 3-point gaze technique works like this. First, establish your near point about 10 to 15 feet ahead. This gives you plenty of time to spot any obstacles without compromising your posture. Your peripheral vision will still catch closer hazards. Next, regularly lift your gaze to your far point, the horizon or your destination. This naturally straightens your spine and resets your posture. Do this every 10 to 15 seconds while walking. Finally, and this is what most people miss, consciously engage your peripheral awareness. Practice expanding your side vision to detect movement and obstacles without turning your head. Thomas practiced this technique religiously during his daily walks around the neighborhood. He'd choose a landmark in the distance, maintain his gaze at the proper near point, and periodically look up toward his destination. Thomas. After 2 weeks, I noticed I was standing taller, breathing easier, and feeling much more confident. The science behind this is fascinating. Research published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity demonstrates that your gaze direction actually changes your entire walking mechanics. When subjects look down, researchers measured increased postural sway and decreased step length, both associated with higher fall risk. When subjects used the three-point technique, their walking pattern immediately showed greater stability and confidence. Even more interesting, their reaction time to unexpected obstacles improved by nearly 20%. Be honest, do you typically look down when walking? Type guilty in the comments if you've caught yourself doing this. You're not alone, and awareness is the first step to change. But here's something crucial to understand. The gaze technique is powerful, but it only delivers its full benefit when combined with our second walking secret, which addresses what happens from the ground up. Our second walking secret focuses on how your foot makes contact with the ground, something many older adults get completely wrong without realizing it. Have you ever watched how a young child walks? They have a natural fluid motion where the heel touches first, then the foot rolls forward to the toe. But as we age, many of us develop problematic walking patterns, either landing flat-footed with the entire foot hitting the ground at once, or worse, toe-first walking. These altered walking patterns devastate your stability. When you walk flat-footed, you lose the natural shock absorption and smooth weight transfer that prevents falls. And toe-first walking? It's like walking on a tightrope. Your base of support becomes dangerously narrow. The correct technique is called the heel-to-toe roll, and it's how humans are designed to walk. Here's how it works. With each step, your heel should make contact with the ground first. Then, your weight rolls smoothly along the outer edge of your foot, finally pushing off with your toes. This creates a stable, triangular base of support throughout your stride and allows your ankle to properly absorb shock. Thomas, I realized I'd been walking flat-footed for years. The first week practicing the heel-to-toe roll felt awkward and exaggerated, but by week 3, my balance improved dramatically. Now it feels completely natural. Dr. James Richardson, a rehabilitation specialist who studied gait patterns for over 30 years, explains why this technique is so powerful. The heel-to-toe roll engages your ankle's full range of motion and distributes forces efficiently throughout your entire leg. This prevents the jerky, unstable movements that often precede a fall. If you have foot pain or arthritis that makes heel striking uncomfortable, don't worry. Start with shorter steps and gradually increase as comfort allows. Proper supportive shoes can make a tremendous difference too. We'll discuss ideal footwear in secret number 5. Here's a simple way to practice. Walk slowly along a straight line, consciously touching heel first, then rolling through to the toe. Focus on the smooth transfer of weight rather than speed. 10 minutes of mindful practice daily creates the muscle memory needed for this to become automatic. Try taking 5 steps right now using the heel-to-toe roll. Comment smooth if you felt the difference in stability. Now for secret number 3, which addresses what physical therapists call the forgotten stabilizers, a critical system that most older adults completely neglect while walking. The third walking secret introduces what physical therapists call the forgotten stabilizers, your core muscles. Most people associate core strength with sit-ups or fitness enthusiasts working on their beach bodies, but your core muscles serve a far more critical function. They're the central stabilizers that keep your entire body balanced while in motion. Here's the problem. As we age, we tend to turn off our core muscles when walking. We let our midsection go slack, which forces our back, hips, and knees to compensate. This creates a chain reaction of instability that significantly increases fall risk. Thomas, I never thought about my stomach muscles when walking. It seemed completely unrelated to balance. But once I learned to engage my core, I felt the difference immediately, like someone had suddenly tightened all the bolts on a wobbly piece of furniture. The technique is called core engagement, and it's surprisingly simple. No crunches or planks required. Instead, use what therapists call the zip-up technique while walking. Imagine gently drawing your belly button toward your spine. Not sucking in your stomach, but creating a slight internal lift and tightening. The movement is subtle. No one would notice you're doing it. The engagement should be about 20 to 30% of your maximum effort, just enough to create stability without tension. Thomas struggled to remember this technique at first, so he created a simple reminder system. He placed small colored dot stickers at key locations in his home, on the refrigerator, by the front door, on his bathroom mirror. Each time he spotted a dot, he'd check his core engagement while walking for the next minute. Research from the National Institute on Aging has shown that core stability is directly linked to fall prevention. Their studies demonstrate that older adults with engaged core muscles while walking show significantly improved recovery when they stumble or encounter uneven surfaces. The most common mistake is engaging too forcefully. Remember, this isn't about creating rigid tension, it's about gentle, sustainable support. You should be able to breathe normally and maintain a conversation while using this technique. For those with back pain, this technique often provides relief by supporting your spine properly during movement. Start with brief periods of practice and gradually increase duration as it becomes more natural. Have you ever thought about your core muscles while walking? Let me know in the comments below. But here's where most people get things completely backward. Our fourth secret involves a part of your body you're probably using incorrectly with every single step you take. Our fourth secret reveals something most older adults do completely backward every day without realizing it, and it involves your arms. Watch how children naturally walk. Their arms swing freely and rhythmically with each step. Now observe many older adults walking. Their arms barely move, held stiffly at their sides or even clutched together in front of them. This seemingly minor habit dramatically increases fall risk. Your arms are natural counterbalances. When your right foot steps forward, your left arm should swing forward to maintain equilibrium. This opposing movement stabilizes your entire body and prevents excessive rotation in your torso that can lead to falls. But there's more. Proper arm swing actually counterbalances your lower body, instantly improving stability, maintains walking momentum, reducing fatigue, improves proprioception, your body's awareness of its position in space. The proper technique is what physical therapists call the 45-degree swing. Your arm should bend at approximately 45 degrees at the elbow, swinging naturally front to back, not side to side, as you walk. The movement should be relaxed, not forced, with your hands passing just by your hip pocket at the back of the swing. I realized I'd been walking with my arms practically frozen. When I started practicing proper arm swing, my entire walking pattern changed. My daughter actually noticed a difference in my walking before I told her about these techniques. She said, "I suddenly looked years younger and more confident." Here's a simple 3-day reset practice Thomas used. Day 1. For 5 minutes, exaggerate your arm swing while walking. Make it slightly larger than natural to reactivate those movement patterns. Day 2. Walk with normal arm swing but place attention on the synchronization with your legs. Right foot forward, left arm forward. Day 3. Focus on relaxation in your shoulders while maintaining the swing. Research from gait analysis studies at the University of Michigan found that proper arm swing reduces energy expenditure by nearly 8% and improves recovery response after stumbling by up to 15%. Even more impressive, their research showed that simply restoring natural arm swing can reduce fall risk by as much as 30% in adults over 65. The most common mistake is swinging arms across the body rather than front to back. Your arms should move like pendulums in parallel planes, not crossing your center line. Do your arms swing naturally when you walk, or do you keep them relatively still? Share below. Secret number 5 might surprise you because it involves something you're standing on right now, an area most fall prevention programs completely overlook. Our fifth walking secret might be the most overlooked yet critical factor affecting your stability, your feet, and what you put on them. As we age, 2 significant changes happen to our feet. First, the sensitive nerve endings that provide crucial balance information to your brain begin to diminish, a condition podiatrists call age-related peripheral neuropathy. Second, the small but mighty muscles in your feet weaken from decades of being confined in rigid supportive shoes. This creates a dangerous situation where your brain receives less information about the surface you're walking on, while your feet have less intrinsic strength to respond to changes in terrain. Even worse, many older adults unknowingly create what podiatrists call proprioceptive insulation by wearing the wrong footwear. Thick-soled, heavily cushioned shoes might feel comfortable, but they dramatically reduce your foot's ability to sense and respond to the ground beneath you. I was wearing these thick-soled, cushioned slip-on shoes I thought were perfect for an older person. My therapist called them balance blockers, and showed me how they were actually making me less stable. For optimal stability, look for these 3 critical features in your walking shoes. 1. A low, wide heel, not completely flat but no more than 1 inch difference between heel and forefoot. 2. A thin, flexible sole in the forefoot area that allows you to feel the ground. 3. Secure fastening with laces or strong Velcro, not slip-ons. Thomas's footwear transformation was dramatic. He switched to properly fitted walking shoes with these 3 features and immediately noticed improved stability on uneven surfaces. But footwear is only half the equation. Thomas also began a simple foot strengthening routine. Toe spreading. Sitting down, spread your toes as wide as possible, hold for 5 seconds, and release. Repeat 10 times. Towel gripping. Place a small towel on the floor and use your toes to grip and scrunch it towards it. Marble pickup. Practice picking up marbles with your toes and placing them in a bowl. Great for dexterity. Research published in the Journal of Podiatric Medicine found that just 6 weeks of these simple exercises improved balance scores by 30% in adults over 65. Even more impressive, participants reported greater confidence walking on challenging surfaces like grass or gravel. Dr. Emily Splikal, a podiatrist specializing in movement science, explains, "Your feet contain 200,000 nerve endings designed to help you navigate your environment safely. The right footwear lets these nerve endings do their job, while foot strengthening exercises enhance your body's natural stability systems. Take a look at your current shoes. Do they have all 3 critical features I mentioned? Let me know in the comments." Let's talk about the walking secret that transformed Thomas's confidence on uneven surfaces. A technique that literally changed the foundation of his walking pattern. Our 6th walking secret addresses a fundamental error many older adults make without realizing it: walking with their feet too close together. If you've ever watched someone who seems unsteady when walking, you'll notice their feet often cross over an imaginary centerline. This narrow walking pattern essentially creates a tightrope effect, transforming your base of support from a stable rectangle to an unstable line. The widened base technique corrects this problem through a simple but powerful adjustment: walking with your feet hip-width apart. This doesn't mean walking with an exaggerated wide stance that creates its own instability problems. The optimal width is precisely hip-width, creating what balance specialists call a stability rectangle beneath you. When your feet maintain this width while walking, you establish a significantly more stable foundation. Thomas. This technique was an absolute revelation for me. For years I had unconsciously walked with my feet almost crossing over each other. The physical therapist showed me how this narrow pattern was making me wobble side to side with each step. Thomas used a brilliantly simple practice method. He placed 2 parallel strips of painter's tape on his hallway floor, exactly hip-width apart. Several times each day he'd walk the hallway, ensuring each foot stayed on its respective line. Thomas. After practicing for 2 weeks, the proper width became automatic. When I returned to my regular walking routes, I felt dramatically more stable, especially on uneven surfaces like grass or gravel paths. The technique requires some adaptation based on your body type and mobility level. Taller individuals naturally need a slightly wider base than shorter people. If you have hip pain or arthritis, you may need to start with a slightly narrower width and gradually increase to optimal spacing as comfort allows. A helpful visualization is to imagine walking on parallel train tracks. Your feet should never cross over or step on the opposite track. This mental image helps maintain proper width without having to look down. Research from the Gait and Balance Laboratory at Johns Hopkins found that walking with an optimal base width reduces lateral sway by up to 40% and decreases compensatory arm movements needed for balance. For older adults, this translates directly to reduced fall risk. Dr. Lisa Constantelius, a balance specialist, explains, "When we analyze fall patterns in older adults, we consistently see that narrow-based walking precedes lateral falls, one of the most common and dangerous types of falls. Simply widening the base to optimal width can dramatically improve stability. Next time you walk, notice if your feet cross over each other, or maintain a stable width. What did you observe? Share in the comments below." Our final secret might be the most powerful of all, because it addresses what happens between your steps. The critical moments where most falls actually begin. Our 7th and final walking secret reveals something surprising about falls. They rarely happen during straight-line walking. Instead, most falls occur during what specialists call transition moments, those brief seconds when you're changing from one state of movement to another. These critical transition moments include standing up from a seated position, changing direction or turning, stopping suddenly, stepping sideways, navigating through doorways, moving from one surface to another, carpet to tile for example. The problem is that most older adults rush through these transitions without giving their balance systems time to adjust. Your body needs a moment to recalibrate when changing direction or position, especially as proprioception, your sense of body position, naturally decreases with age. This is where the mindful transitions technique makes a dramatic difference. Thomas, my physical therapist, noticed I would make sudden, jerky turns when walking. She taught me to insert a deliberate pause before changing direction. It felt unnaturally slow at first, but it eliminated those wobbly moments completely. The technique centers on the 3-second pause, a brief but intentional stop, before changing your movement pattern. During this pause, you 1. Stabilize your position, 1. Engage your core, as we learned in secret number 3, 1. Visually focus on where you're going next, 1. Then initiate the new movement pattern for turning. One of the riskiest transitions, use the pivot and step method instead of twisting. This means, pause completely. Lift your foot and place it in the new direction. Let your body follow, rather than twisting your upper body while your feet remain planted. Thomas implemented this technique by identifying high-risk transition points in his daily routine, like getting up from his favorite chair, navigating the turn at the bottom of his stairs, or moving through the narrow bathroom doorway. At each location, he practiced deliberate pausing. Thomas, I actually placed small red dot stickers at these transition points as reminders. Eventually the pause became automatic, and I could remove the visual cues. Research from the Fall Prevention Research Laboratory at Oregon Health Sciences University found that transition moments account for 87% of falls in adults over 65. Their studies show that implementing a brief pause before transitions reduced fall incidence by 47%, perhaps the most significant single intervention in fall prevention research. To master this technique, try this simple daily practice. Choose 3 to 5 common transitions in your home. For 1 week, deliberately practice the 3-second pause before each of these transitions. Focus on keeping your movements smooth and deliberate, rather than rushed. When was the last time you almost fell? Was it during a transition moment? Share your experience below. These 7 walking secrets aren't isolated techniques. They work together as an integrated system. The gaze technique supports proper posture, which enables effective heel-to-toe rolling. Core engagement provides stability for proper arm swing. The widened base creates the foundation for secure transitions. Together they transform not just how you walk, but how confidently you move through the world. Let's take a moment now to see how these 7 walking secrets work together as a complete system. When properly integrated, they don't just improve your walking, they transform your entire experience of moving through the world. Let's review our 7 secrets. Secret number 1. The 3-point gaze technique, looking ahead properly instead of down. Secret number 2. The heel-to-toe roll, ensuring proper foot contact with the ground. Secret number 3. Core engagement, activating your body's central stabilizers. Secret number 4. The arm swing reset, using natural counterbalance. Secret number 5. Foot strength and proper footwear, building your foundation. Secret number 6. The widened base technique, maintaining optimal step width. Secret number 7. Mindful transitions, pausing before direction changes. Thomas's transformation when implementing all 7 techniques was remarkable. His walking pattern shifted from tentative and unsteady to confident and fluid. His posture improved dramatically. He stands taller, breathes more easily, and moves with purpose. Thomas, the most surprising benefit wasn't just avoiding falls, it's that walking became enjoyable again. I used to dread having to walk any distance. Now my daily walks are something I look forward to. Here's a simple 7-day implementation plan to integrate these techniques into your own walking pattern. Day 1. Focus solely on the 3-point gaze technique. Practice looking ahead properly during walking. Day 2. Add the heel-to-toe roll while maintaining proper gaze. Day 3. Introduce core engagement, connecting it with your breathing pattern. Day 4. Practice the arm swing reset while maintaining the previous techniques. Day 5. Evaluate your footwear and begin foot strengthening exercises. Day 6. Focus on the widened base technique, using the parallel tracks visualization. Day 7. Implement mindful transitions, especially when turning or changing directions. After this initial week, spend 2 to 3 minutes each day before walking to mentally review all 7 techniques. Eventually, they'll become your new normal. The most common question I receive is, do I really need to implement all 7 techniques? The answer is yes, they work synergistically. Each technique supports and enhances the others. Patricia, 78, implemented these techniques after experiencing 2 falls in 3 months. The mindful transitions technique was the game changer for me, she reports. I realized all my close calls happened when turning too quickly. Robert, 84, found the widened base technique most helpful. I never realized I was essentially walking on a tightrope until my physical therapist pointed it out. Just widening my stance slightly has made an enormous difference. Dr. Elizabeth Morrow, Director of Geriatric Rehabilitation at Midwest Health Systems, emphasizes, consistency is the key. These techniques require repetition to become automatic, but the neuroplasticity of the aging brain is remarkable. New movement patterns can be established at any age with proper practice. Which of these 7 secrets do you think will help you the most? Comment with the number below. Remember, these techniques aren't just about preventing falls. They're about reclaiming the freedom, confidence, and joy that comes with moving securely through the world. When you walk without fear of falling, whole new possibilities open up. Falls don't have to be an inevitable part of aging. They aren't simply accidents or bad luck, they're often the result of walking patterns that can be identified and corrected at any age. Remember Thomas, who experienced 3 serious falls in just 6 months? Today, he walks with confidence and stability, enjoying activities he thought were behind him forever. His transformations didn't require expensive equipment or grueling exercise, just consistent application of these 7 evidence-based techniques. The beautiful thing about these walking secrets is that while they require conscious effort at first, they eventually become automatic. Your brain and body adopt them as your new normal, creating lasting protection against falls. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button and share this video with someone you care about who could benefit from these walking secrets. Your share might literally prevent a life-changing fall. Subscribe for more evidence-based advice that helps older adults live with confidence and independence. Remember, it's never too late to transform how you move through the world.